Hi, it's Cole from Banhammer Games, and welcome to Fan Friday. And today we're going to kind of go over the new cards from Scarlet+Violet Base sets coming out in Japan. I don't know when actually, but I'm not actually going to talk about card and like their viabilities and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about the frames, which is something that I really enjoy. And I think that there's a lot of cool stuff um, in the Scarlet+Violet sets that kind of harken back to their callbacks, basically, to older cards and older sets. So today we're just gonna kind of talk about them. So I'm over here on Poke Beach, and this is like literally right before posted right before all of the news from the Scarlet+Violet set came out. So we'll look at those in a bit, but something that's kind of cool is we talk about the viability, not the viability, but like the mechanics of the main mechanic of the new Scarlet+Violet stuff are Pokemon EXs, and they're gonna function more like the original Pokemon EXs, which were a Pokemon and then the small EX, and that's actually important. We'll come back to that later, but they were kind of like Pokemon GX, which would evolve from I don't want to say bulk Pokemon, but like they're not like Pokemon V's, where V's were basics. A lot of these evolved from normal Pokemon up. So a great example over here is this Raichu. It's Raichu EX, right? So it evolves from Pikachu, but it's Raichu EX, and it says, when a Pokemon EX has been knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prize cards. So this is the first multi-prizer that we had. Actually, I don't know if the Legends were multi-prizers, but those came later anyway, so never mind. Yeah, first multi-prizer. And so they kind of work like that. And so they would also have stage 2s. So Blaziken's a good example. So Blaziken obviously evolves from Combusken, which evolves from Torchic. So there isn't a Torchic EX and a Combusken EX. It goes Torchic, Combusken, and then Blaziken EX. They did a lot of cool stuff, and I also really like that there's dual weaknesses. Oh, you can't see it. You can barely see it here. I cropped it in OBS, but water and psychic weakness, because it's a firefighting, which I think is pretty cool. And I don't think that they should necessarily bring back those kinds of multi weaknesses, because a lot of people, the two things that I've learned about the Pokemon trading card game community is they despise 3-prizer basics. I guess there's a few things. Despise 3-prizer basics or multi-prizer basics. They really dislike weakness as a mechanic. They hate that, and prize cards. So adding more weaknesses probably not good for the game at this point. Anyway, so like they evolve up, and then they give up multi prizes when they're taken. But the arts kind of look a little basic, right? But then we get in the black and white era. And then they kind of evolve into very explosive artworks where they're like coming out of the frame. They look pretty cool. A lot happening, a lot of particle effects and stuff. Big fan of that. Although I will say it's kind of interesting that these Pokemon EXs came out in Ruby and Sapphire base set, whereas the EXs in black and white didn't come out until the 3rd or 4th set. I think the 3rd set, or maybe it was the 4th set. Next Destinies. And so they didn't start with them, which I think is pretty interesting. And yeah, we kind of go on to more designs of them and what they did, blah, blah, blah. Don't really care too much. But then we kind of look over here and we kind of see that Magnezone EX is like very similar to how the black and white EXs are, except it evolved from a Magneton EX. Or Magneton, not Magneton EX, sorry. So like that's kind of interesting. And I like that aspect. And then they showed what Koraidon EX and Miraidon EX do, except there's some things that are missing, so it's hard to see, but it's just there's awkward space in between 2 basic blank energy cards. And that's because they didn't want to give out a bunch of the information on what Koraidon's typings were and Miraidon's typings, because Miraidon says the same thing. Like there's blanks where what type it would be. And I also thought that at the end there was something fancy with this logo, right? And I thought that they would do something pretty interesting. Like, my theory was you would take, I'm going to say Arcanine EX, because we know what Arcanine EX does, which we'll talk about later. Um, you'll have Arcanine EX regular, and then you'll have Arcanine EX terastalized, for example. So, like, you can kind of look at the, whoops, so many ads in this dumb thing. Let's see, can we go over? Can I do that? Yeah, okay. This is the regular EX symbol, right? And then the one that we were just looking at is the terastalized EX symbol. They showed at the tail end of the trailer at Worlds, I believe it was. But anyway, I thought it would be like Arcanine EX regular is a fire type, right? Because Arcanine is normally a fire type. But then you terastallize it, and for example, let's make it a water type. And so it would kind of harken back to Delta Species a little bit, where Delta Species was again a Ruby and Sapphire mechanic or era mechanic, um, Ruby's a Gen 3 mechanic. Let's put it that way, Gen 3, because it wasn't until like Emerald or something like that, which was the tail end of Gen 3. Anyway, um, and so they were different types, but they still kept the same weaknesses. So I thought that it would kind of be similar to that, where it would change, the Pokemon itself would look still like a fire type Arcanine, but would be actually be a water type, and then it now would have water weaknesses. And I thought that would be kind of a cool mechanic, almost kind of like a level X evolution on top, but it changes the typings and whatnot. I think that would be really cool. However, they didn't go for that. So let's kind of go through more. Oh, spoiler alerts. There's two legendaries, which I haven't caught yet. But I know they exist. Anyway, so I just wanted to show that and then kind of show what the new cards look like. So I think a really good one. Let's see if we're going to start. Don't look. See if, oh, they don't have oh, wait, they do have water. They do have water because Quaxley. Just kind of want to look at Quaxley's frame. Oh, this is bad because you can't see it. Let me see. We zoom up so that I can then scroll to the bottom and you still can't see it because I'm a noob. Because that's actually the thing I wanted to show off. Hold on one sec. There's so many ads on these websites that I really wanted to crop everything and make things look a little bit better. But sometimes you just gotta go scuffed. Okay. So there's a full Quaxley, what it looks like. Great art, right? Always a good art. But then the frame changed a little bit. And we'll look at what the current Sword and Shield frames look like. But first off, I want to point off this little swoop thing, right? Keep that in mind. That's a recurring theme. Oh, you can't see my pointer. But right by its name, right next to the HP, there's a little swoop thing. It's kind of like an S. It separates the darker from the lighter. And then that kind of carries down to the very left of the card, right next to the cost for the attacks. It changes colors. You can see like there's a difference. So it's kind of like it swoops and it separates it, which I like a lot. It looks kind of familiar to me because it's very similar to what Mudkip looked like here. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Okay. So Mudkip has that little swoop thing. Oh, there you go. You can see my mouse. Little swoop thing right here. And also had a little bit of a separation here. So it kind of separated, although it's the opposite here. So light here and dark here, where Quaxley's was dark and then light. But yeah, so I like that. It definitely harkens back to it. It also makes sense because we're going back to EXs that are similar to that, to what they used to be, which I think is really cool, and I love that. And not much else changes, honestly, with the frame. Just that's the biggest thing, and I also think it's gonna make readability. Oh no! I think it's gonna make readability a little bit better. Let's see if I can go back. Something I'm not a huge fan of is PokeBeach's website. So many dumb and stupid ads, like just that. Like Jesus. There's so many. There's so many. There's way too many. Okay. So like let's look at Growlithe. Growlithe looks pretty cool. Right? Not much changes. So what I found was a little hard to read sometimes were oh god, there was one typing that was kind of hard to read. And I'm wondering if they fixed it. I don't remember what the typing was either. Scroll down. I don't think it was electric because electric was maybe it might have been psychic. Psychic looks like it changed a little bit. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about like how good cards are. You can find better players talking about better things, but I want to talk about the design of the layouts because I like the layouts. And oh my god, Jesus! Go to sets. Scroll down. Oh, actually, no. We're gonna look at Sword and Shield now because I want to show you what a current thing looks like, and then we can kind of compare it to what the little Smoliv looks like. Okay, so there's Smoliv, right? Can move those around, which is really too far. Oh man, this is this is really scuffed. I'm sorry. Smoliv's frame, pretty simple. You can clearly see. And then we've got the Sword and Shield ones, which look really basic. Like, they don't look bad. They look really basic. I like that on the evolutions, you've got the little thing to kind of separate the evolutions versus the basics. And it carries over when you get to the V's and whatnot. It's a nice little theme. Nice little theme that you got. Also, like, here's an example. There is Superior. Oh, son of a biscuit. Superior V, right? Clearly, Superior is not a basic. Like, it's just not. It has an evolution. I don't know, an evolution line. Snivy, Servine, and Superior. But they came out with a basic V. And then they kind of evolved it with V Maxes and V Stars. For example. But in black and white, they were just EXs and etc. etc. Okay. So, yeah, here's Growlithe, right? Growlithe looks really cute. Again, really good frame. Very excited for the frame. But then we get to the terastalized EX version of Arcanine. Arcanine looks really good. He's coming out. Definitely reminds you of the EXs from the black and white era, right? But this little terastallized effect, so far, I don't know if this is just what terastallized means. But it just says that it can't be attacked while it's on the bench, which is fine. It's not bad. Like, competitively speaking, it's not bad. It means Greninja can't get you. It means, I think, Zero Aura V would be able to attack the bench, the Rapid Strike one, the active in the bench, etc., etc. Like, it's fine, right? But it's also kind of really boring. And it doesn't exactly play into how cool terastalyzing is with changing the different types that terastalyzing does in the game. So it's a little boring on that aspect. So I'm a little sad. It also looks like you can go from just a regular Growlithe to a crystallized. You can see it. There is a crystal there. Kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more here. Oh my god, Poke Beach. Gonna make me get a freaking ad blocker. Jesus. Okay. So yeah, you can kind of see the crystallizing right there. Right? And we'll get rid of that. And then we'll go and we'll look at Miraidon, who has not. Who does not. Oh my. I'm zooming in and out. That's why. Scuff. Just has a regular EX. So there is a difference between the terastallizing and the regular EXs. Also, spoiler, Miraidon is electric. Sorry that you've been spoiled. Electric dragon. And Koraidon is a fighting dragon, which we'll see right here. Boop. Fighting type. Also, it's really obvious with Koraidon. You can see the art continues through its frame. I don't think you really notice that with Miraidon. You do a little bit. Yeah, especially like down here, but this kind of gets lost. But I really like that. And also, I wonder if Arcanine has it too. Magnezone doesn't exactly have it because Magnezone is a baller. And most of whoops, wrong thing. Most of Magnezone's art is actually already in the picture, so no need for that. And yeah, it carries over a little bit with Arcanine over here. Over here, you can see a little bit. So I think that's really cool. Also, their gems that are coming out, I just noticed that. I don't know, yeah, but like from card arts wise and like the layout and the frames and stuff, I think they look really good. They all look really good. I guess in Magic terms, I'd be what you'd call like a Timmy or Jimmy, or I think it's Jimmy. One of the two that I just love big gimmicks. You know, I play for fun. I like the gimmicks. Oh my god. I think I'm probably going to get an ad blocker if I'm going to keep doing this. I don't like it because I want, small creators and stuff like that to get the bag that they deserve, etc., etc. But it's hard to even enjoy the website. But yes, big fan of how these all look. I'm hoping that terastalyzing gives different. Like I was hoping that it would do more to the game, be more of a cooler thing. Like Gigantamax and Dynamaxing were VMAXs. They were kind of cool. They were like these big, bulky Pokemon that they gave up 3 prizes, which is its own thing. And they did a lot of things, and generally they were pretty good, pretty strong. But yeah, I don't know. Also, if we look at, see if we can go back to the evolution of the cards, right? Like these EXs were 100 HP. This is 150, 100, blah, blah, blah. And they jumped real high to these basics were 170 and 180. And, 170, 180, 170. And then we get Magnezone over here, which is 330. Which is a whole lot. And if we go to see what the Sun and Moon, like the GXs, look like, Sun and Moon set. Base set. Let's see if we can find one. Decidueye was 240. 240. So that's already what like Lucario was. It was in Arcanine. They were upper 200s, mid to upper 200s. We did see Mimikyu EX, and that was 170, I think. 170 or 190, which scales, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Lurantis 210. Man, Incineroar looks really good. I still think that GXs might be one of the cooler looking like frames, because it looks very different, and they look really good. I also like how they're taking up most of the art. The frame is most of the art. Like, look, that looks really good. Really good. Primarina also looks really good. And then, like, let's see. Okay, so, yeah, V's also took up most of the art, right? Let's look at Fusion Strike just real quick. Yeah, they also took up most of the art. And I also do like the way that the V's looked. I like that V border. I like the swoop at the end. The art is the majority of the thing, but I really didn't like how they were basics. okay. I liked and I didn't like it. Right. Um, it made it easier to understand. I didn't have to evolve and whatnot all the way up, but it also made some of them really strong. A really good point is Drapion V, especially the one with the Wild Styles ability. Oh, specifically the ones with the Wild Styles ability, which kind of like pooped on anything that had like a single strike, fusion strike, or rapid strike ability. So that was really good. You could just throw it down. Theoretically, you wouldn't need any energy, and you can just destroy things. So, yeah. I don't know. Pokemon cards are really cool. Pokemon design is also really cool. Look, I'm covering it, but like that's made of yarn. I like that. Serena also looks. I don't know. I like Pokemon a lot. This is me rambling, and I'm sorry. Didn't make a lot of sense. Just me kind of gushing about how much I really like the new frame, the terastalyzing mechanic. I'm a little disappointed in, and how you can see a lot of design similarities with the Ruby Sapphire era of games or of Pokemon. So it's interesting. Also, that says double rare down there. Do they have? Does Japanese have letter rarities, kind of like Vanguard did? Or because I know English has symbols, but actually, hold on. I do have a thing. I have Japanese cards. They do indeed. I just found the Stanley's Evolution. Weird like the character rare for Weird, and it had CHR at the bottom, which is cool. Having played a lot of other Japanese games, I kind of like and appreciate the letters at the bottom, because R means rare. It's very simple, but in Pokemon, a star means rare. So I don't know. I think that makes more sense personally. But anyway, oh boy, I've divulged a lot. These cards are not necessarily nothing to be like blown out about. I really like Koraidon and I really like Miraidon. As Pokemons and also as cards. Pokemon and also as cards. But anyway, I've been rambling way too long. These are not supposed to be this long. I'm sorry, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully we can get the my Scarlet playthrough done. Jack is going to be editing that stuff. I just need to send him the stuff to do it, and we'll be making shorts and stuff. And I got to make a TikTok, and I also got to make an Instagram account here pretty soon. So hopefully, I don't know what I'd put on it, but stuff's going on it, because we got to try and put our stuff out there. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye. Hey, Cole, in the future, quick addendum here. Literally, as I was finishing editing and whatnot, Friday, as I'm recording this little section, they just actually announced and showcased Scarlet and Violet, the base set, like information on all the new changes and stuff. So we'll just kind of walk through it, because there's quite a bit of important stuff here. So the first things first is beautiful ad here. They kind of go through like the basics here, but we'll show you the most important thing. The yellow border that Pokemon has had since the beginning in English no longer exists. Now we've gone to the classic silver border, which is really, really nice. Oh, you can't see there you go. Silver border, yellow border, tacky. Silver border, nice. Yeah, so it's actually pretty important, because the Japanese cards are silver bordered. So it was always kind of weird to me that non-Japanese cards would have the yellow border, but now everyone's gonna have the silver border, which I really like. But also, it's kind of weird. And I don't know, there's something like really comforting about the yellow border. I know it's tacky. I know it's an eyesore, but it's also comforting at the same time. And this just feels kind of scary. like good kind of scary, like change is good kind of thing. Yeah, and it doesn't really matter, but yeah. So let's see. Change in the position of the supporter item stadium text so you can see them better when holding. Oh, so they just swapped trainer and supporter and stadium and trainer. So that's all that they did. Okay. But yeah, you can see that the silver border continues on. Also, I like the new frame for the supporters. I like the extra emphasis on the orange. It's pretty nice. Not much has changed, but I like this at the bottom. This is nice, dark and bold. It really stands out. This is kind of hard to read, so that's nice. And again, for the stadiums, we have the silver border. Not much has changed. I like the text at the bottom. Oh, another thing. It's hard to tell right here, but we're getting here is better with Professor Sada. So we still have the regulation marks, right? But we're no longer having the set symbols, which again I liked, but it makes so much more sense to go with the set numbers. We still keep the rarities, unlike in Japan where we have uncommon, common, rare. We still keep the rarity symbols, which is kind of a little bit of a bummer for me, but it's really fine. No longer having to like transcribe and figure out what the set symbols mean anymore. So that's really nice. That's about it for the most things, but this is actually kind of interesting, and I don't know if anything's really going to happen here, but the basic energy are actually called basic grass energy now, basic fire energy, basic water energy, etc., etc., etc. So people were talking about, maybe you can't use older energies anymore. And it would kind of make sense, but it also kind of really suck because a lot of people would customize their energies. They'd have like certain eras of energies that they really liked. Like I know the I get droplet foil WotC energies are really big in my friend group because they look really nice. I personally am a fan of the evolutions energies where they look like the older energies, but they're not. I like those a lot. I also really like the Brilliant Stars Onward. Like these, I like these a lot. I also really like these, so I'm not upset to upgrade these at all. And it doesn't matter to me too much that I can't use older energies because for the most part I just use the newer ones anyway. So I don't know. Rulings would have to come out on this, but I guess because of how rotation works and whatnot, you're gonna have both yellow bordered and silver bordered cards for at least another 2 years. So I don't know. Yeah, and let's see what the changes. Expansion symbol, yeah, that's right. We just talked about that. Yeah, it's really weird seeing an English card in a silver border. For the better, for sure. Again, but yeah, still weird. And we get to see these look really good. I'm so excited to get these new EXs in person. Ugh. On side note, I think Miraidon EX is actually pretty solid. And Koraidon also pretty solid too. Doesn't really matter though, because I'm not talking about cards. What's a good card and what's not a good card. We're just kind of going through and looking at all this stuff. So some other changes that we have. You're gonna have, actually, I wonder if PokeBeach has more on this. But I know that booster packs are gonna have 3 foils. So that's gonna be kind of interesting. Still 10 cards, 3 foils. Oh yeah, it launches on March 31st, which is a little bit later than what we all expected. But I think they said that they wanted to take a little bit, have a little bit more breather room between Crown Zenith and Scarlet and Violet. So they want a little bit of breathing room in between, which makes sense. It just kind of Kind of sucks because I really wanted to play with these new cards. Yeah, see, here we go. You've got all these new basic energies, which all look really cool. Yep, set symbols, blah blah blah. It's all the same. Shows some cool new artwork. This is, I think, is pretty interesting here. This is Terastalize Gyarados. So this has to be Gyarados EX with a Terra. And if we're going by what I said earlier with the Arcanine Terra, it just means it won't be able to be hit on the bench, which is fine. This art is so sick. So sick. So is that. I love the starry thing. I love that effect. It looks really good. These guys look good. I'm assuming these are clipped from the trailer, which I'm not going to watch here, but yeah. And they talk about the Terra types. They're talking about, Mareep. Oh, there's a cute little guy I can add to my collection. I got a collection of Mareep going, sorry. So I haven't seen most of these actually. No, I have. Just those two. Haven't seen those two. Or the Riolu, I guess, but yeah. Nothing too fancy here. I'm excited for that, for the Ampharos, though. I think the Ampharos looks pretty cool. I'm a sucker for Ampharos because I love Mareep. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm hoping that they actually do give different Terra types, but it doesn't look like it because Arcanine has fire and is a fire type, and then Gyarados has water, and Gyarados is also a water type. Unless Gyarados could be a normal, or not normal, colorless, but that still doesn't make any sense because the card itself is gonna be a Magikarp. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's yeah, kind of sad about the about what they did with the Terra types. Oh, another thing. Packs are gonna go up in price. The MSRP used to be $4. I don't know where it was $4 because it's always been about $4.50. Well, okay, in big box stores, it's been about $4.50 for a while now. It used to be $4.20, nice, but now it's $4.50. So I don't know if big box stores are gonna up that to $4.75 or $5, or if they'll just keep it at $4.50. So something to keep in mind. Also, the Elite Trainer boxes, which come with I think like 8 packs normally 8 packs normally, custom dice for the set, custom sleeves for the set, dividers, the actual box, and a bunch of energies. And now they'll also include full art Pokemon. And that's really cool because we had that, but we only had them with the supplemental sets. So like in Celebrations, in Shining Fate, was it Shining? It wasn't Shining Fates. It was one of them. Because I remember EV Max was one of them. Charizard V was another. There's one for Pokemon Go is Mewtwo, Mewtwo V. So like there's a lot of cool things. So that's gonna be the normal moving forward. And an additional booster pack, which is also pretty nice. But because it's an additional booster pack, prices are probably going to go up. I'd probably say they're going to be around $50. They're about $40 and $45 right now, so it's probably going to go up to $50. Let's see. In an effort to continue providing a positive TCG experience, each pack will feature 3 guaranteed foil cards per booster pack. All cards with the rarity of rare or higher will be foil. So no longer will we have non-foil rares, which I'm a huge fan of. I like foils. I know a lot of people would prefer non-foils, especially if they riffle shuffle like animals, like my friends. They prefer the non-foils because they're not going to get creases in the cards, which too damn bad. Too damn bad. I want my cards to bling. So there's that. Yeah, I think I've pretty much talked about everything here. Yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see more of these cards. I want to see more EXs. I love EX. Oh, that looks really weird. That is super textured. My God, can you guys see it? I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but like, look at the border, right? Oh boy, that is some insane texture. You did not see that with the previous things. Oh, that's gonna be so nice in hand. So it's gonna be kind of like a VMAX. How VMAXs were textured, but is Ampharos is not textured like that. Okay, so I bet you the Terastalize or Terra EXs, the Crystal Boys over here, are probably going to be kind of like VMAXs in the rarity as well, maybe. And then the EXs are going to be kind of like the Vs or GXs. It's kind of what I'm guessing. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I got to end it here. Oh my goodness. I'll probably cut it in right beforehand. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah. Well, yeah. Something.